welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Meg. This is Bachelor Talks, and today we are discussing Colton's season and the episode in Vietnam. We start off right with the drama where we picked up from last week, still in Thailand. So we had that whole issue with Nicole and Anika going on. So that is what we are kicking off with, I should say. This week, Colton is clearly over it, and he even says at this point it's very clear to him who is here to get to the end for the right reasons and who is just here that he's not really connecting with or may be here for the wrong reasons, or so he thinks. Basically, after that little conclusion, we cut straight to the rose ceremony, and the math shows that there's two people going home, and big surprise, or is it really not much of a surprise that Nicole and Anika are the two that are going home this week? I feel like they just could have saved everybody's time by editing that down to be a lot shorter than what it was. This week, instead of shower Colton, we start the episode off with washed up on a beach Colton. And more vlogging. The first one-on-one date of the week is with Hannah, who is the content creator, and basically their date is just them being on top of each other and making out the whole time, so really great. Flashback to the house, we have Kaylin sitting with Heather now discussing Hannah, and Kaylin basically just calls Hannah shallow and says that there really isn't much to her besides her looks. So that was a little bit shady of Kaylin, so maybe the whole like beauty pageant Hannah and Kaylin thing isn't completely on Hannah's end now that we saw that, but it was also some foreshadowing because Colton of course said, well, we have a great physical connection, we need to see if there's more depth there, and Hannah did open up to him at dinner, earning her the rose. Moving right along to this week's group date, we have Cassie, Heather, Tasha, Sydney, Katie, Hannah, and Kaylin. And by the way, who the hell is Katie? Because I feel like we have seen nothing from her these first 6 episodes. So let me know in the comments down below, are you just kind of like, who the hell is Katie too while you're watching the TV, or am I just oblivious? But I feel like she just has not been present whatsoever this entire series so far. So everybody on the group date kind of has the same worry here. We're in the point of the show where everybody is just like, is this enough? I'm really sick of these group dates. Everybody thinks that they're entitled to the one-on-one dates. Everybody is freaking out about not making a good enough of connection with Colton, and this is just going to be a continued theme throughout the rest of the episode. So for some reason, Colton thought it would be a great idea for them to fight each other on this group date. I'm kind of surprised that the producers didn't put beauty pageant Hannah and Kaylin together to fight off, but I'm also glad that they didn't, because that would have been so cringy. But knowing how cringy and cheesy The Bachelor is, I'm so surprised they didn't go that route. But here in the episode, the first 2 rounds were pretty playful, and then it gets kind of serious with Demi. It was her and Katie that were fighting each other, and they're both frustrated, and we just really see how frustrated that Demi is really starting to get. And you can kind of see that she's not really being herself. Like, I'm gonna stand out in the front, I'm gonna be the showrunner on this group date, I'm gonna act like it's just me and him, like we saw in previous group dates. She's just kind of slowly shutting down, which makes me feel sad for her because she's such a happy-go-lucky person, but her frustrations are clearly getting to her, and I feel like she definitely felt attacked by Katie, and I feel like Katie took her frustrations out on Demi, and their fight got to be a little bit serious, and apparently Demi got hit in the face quite a few times, so yikes. Poor Demi. After that, Colton said that he had seen enough and that he was over it and that he didn't want to see any more fights for the day, so they just moved on to the rest of the date. Here we had the panic ensue even more. We have Sydney going up to Colton twice, basically saying like, well, how do you feel about me? I feel like she's really starting to get into her head, because I think at this point, Sydney is the oldest girl that's left. I seriously feel like everybody else that's there is 23 or 22, so I feel like she is really starting to question the process, if she's like in the right place and if she's taking this too seriously, if the other girls are just here to have fun and goof off, which I can see both sides being older and there being such a big age gap, because if I'm correct, Sydney's 27, so I feel like she's kind of over like the younger part of your 20s, which is basically all the girls that are left. So I get that, but also you're stuck in this show for weeks on end with very little entertainment, so you have to entertain yourself. So I don't see anything wrong with, they kept shooting over to Hannah, goofing off. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, or like you should say that she's not being serious because she's laughing and having fun. What else are you going to do with your time? You're kind of left to entertain yourself, and Sydney is only entertaining her bad thoughts. So she goes up to Colton a second time on this group date and kind of pulls an Elise and gives him an ultimatum, like, if you don't see us together at the end, I'm going home. So she signed her ticket off and she is out of here, but she does give Colton a warning and said, be smart about your choices and don't get distracted by shiny objects. So who do you think Sydney was referring to when she made that comment? Because you could just tell it kind of like stopped Colton in his tracks, and he was just kind of like, wait, what? Another memorable moment on this group date is that Demi calls her mom. Her mom just got out of prison, so she had a phone call with Colton, which was really a sweet moment between them. I feel like we were starting to see Demi's more mature side and less of like her super fun side. Like I feel like she's starting to really open herself up to Colton. I thought it was a nice moment, but as we know, things took a turn. So back to the group date. Basically, Tayshia is a standout on this group date and she gets the rose. And it's just like always that kind of funny but very awkward moment where there's people that definitely thought he was talking about them, like Hannah. And then they don't get the rose, so they just have like that quick like on their face, and then they have to remember they need to keep smiling. Oh, Bachelor, so cruel. So the other one-on-one date is with Kirpa. I didn't really have much notes from this date because not a lot really happened. I feel like this episode, not a lot really happened. I mean, compared to like all the other episodes so far, this is definitely the most tame one. Kirpa kind of opens up with her relationship with her ex-boyfriend because I feel like she doesn't have anything else to really go deep on. But Colton decides that that is good enough and he ends up giving her the rose. Before we get to the rose ceremony, Demi is like, I'm gonna go to Colton's room. She just makes a joke about like, oh, he's not gonna be a virgin anymore after this. And I feel like ABC, of course, like they ate that up and they really pushed it and made it seem like she's getting sent home because she wanted to have sex with him. Like I saw all the articles saying that, and that's not even what happened. She basically went to his room to tell him her feelings, and then basically I feel like Sydney got in Colton's head, and in Colton's mind he thought Sydney was talking about Demi. So when Demi was pouring her heart out to Colton, he was just kind of like, nah dog, like I ain't feeling it. If you're falling in love with me, then I need to send you home right now because I can't have you wait out another day to the rose ceremony, so you have to go. And he literally sent Demi home because he didn't think that she was going to be as serious or be ready to be engaged, because I feel like that's another thing a couple other girls that have gone home have hinted at. There's people that are here for the wrong reasons. There are people here that aren't really ready. There are people that don't want to be engaged at the end of this. And because Demi is so fun-loving, I feel like he just assumed everyone was talking about her. But then she tells him, you need to be careful about the rest of the girls in the house and who you pick and spend your time with. So you can kind of see the wheels going a little bit more in Colton's head, because she just said, she's like, she basically told Colton, you're gonna make the wrong decision and be really unhappy. So who do you think Demi was talking about? Like, who do you think is a wolf in the sheep's clothing that everybody is alluding to? So basically this really sends Colton into a spin. So we cut straight to the rose ceremony, no cocktail hour. And here Katie goes home, which wasn't a surprise to me because we literally saw like zero of her storyline. So, I feel like Katie also said something to Colton about you know, girls being here for the wrong reasons and said you need to be careful with who you pick from here on out. There are girls that are not ready for this, that don't want to be engaged, and Colton is just like, what am I not getting? If I was Colton, I wouldn't let these girls leave without names. I would be like, you need to tell me who you're talking about. Like, how do you not ask that? And then things get kind of interesting at the end, because Tayshia basically insinuates that she knows who all these girls are talking about. And there's a moment where she turns to Kirpa and says, watch, it'll be us two at the end. I know it will be. So, who do you think Tayshia was talking about? I want to know your thoughts. Who do you think that everybody is talking about that is here for the wrong reasons? I kind of don't really have any obvious guesses at this point, I guess. My only concern is that everybody that's left, that's like, they're all literally 23. I'm like 90% sure. So it's kind of hard to know if you're ready for marriage at the end of that. Being so young, I feel like in our society, people are getting married at an older age. But let me know, who do you think everybody is talking about? Do you think it's gonna be revealed in the next episode? I don't have any spoilers for this week, so if you have any spoilers or anything about what happened in this episode, leave it in the comments down below. I love reading your guys' comments and interacting with you. Again, from last week's video, I had Skater comment saying that she thinks that Elise sent herself home because she realized she wasn't going to be a front runner, and I thought that was a funny comment. I think they just meant like she just wanted, you know, she didn't want to carry out and get her feelings hurt if she wasn't going to be there at the end. But then it's also kind of like, are you trying to make yourself stand out by sending yourself home early that way? I don't know. That is going to wrap it up for this week's recaps. Again, let me know your comments and thoughts on what you thought about the episode down below. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on my future content. Hit the bell button so you can be notified when my video goes live, and so you can be a part of Power Hour, where I will be in the comments live, going back and forth like we're having a real life discussion. You won't have to wait for a response. So let me know what your thoughts on the series are. Is your hometown choices changing? For me, I honestly thought Demi was gonna make it to hometowns, but now I'm not really sure. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Check out my other videos right here, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.